I don't like learning lessons the hard way. And I noticed when we had some snow recently that there was actually snow all the way up on my porch, which was, I thought, unusual. It's a very deep porch. It's probably, I think, 10 feet deep. And when we would get rain, usually water would only be around the edges. It wouldn't be getting wet here where I had a nice outdoor rug. But I noticed that the snow got all the way up against the house. So as I'm coming in today after looking at some things in the yard just to see how everything's doing, I remembered that I had noticed that the rug was pretty wet a couple days ago as the snow was starting to melt. And I thought maybe that's not good because my porch, being a newer home, is wood and I haven't had a chance to treat it with anything, stain or a top coat of any sort, paint, whatever. Haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. So I thought I would look, and I think there are some little black spots that I saw in a couple places that maybe that's mold starting to grow, and that's another thing you don't want. Getting too close to your home or just in general, anything like that can contribute to reducing the life of wood items. And even though this is probably pressure treated, made to be outdoors, used as a porch deck type of material, it is real wood, and I don't want to do anything to decrease the life of this porch. So I'm rolling up the rug and I'm going to just stick it in the garage loosely rolled so it can finish drying out and give the porch a chance, the wood here, to be able to breathe. Any mold that may have started to develop should hopefully die off through the winter, but I'll keep an eye on it. May need to put a little bleaching solution on it, possibly, if I notice that those spots don't go away. And this is the year, this summer, that I need to do something with this porch anyway, so I'll have to obviously clean it really well before any sort of top coat or paint or stain or whatever is applied to the porch. The other thing that I'm looking at are my planter pots. This was my first year this past summer doing annual pots of my own. In the past, I would usually buy a couple hanging planters from a big box store that were in the $10 to $20 range because I knew I would not keep up with them. I would end up watering them for a couple of weeks and then I would get busy and forget and they would die. But this year I was just really inspired to try on my own. I found these really cute pots from a big box store, and they typically not even on a sale or only about $5 a piece, and they're a real actual like terracotta pot. So, and a nice size to have 5 of them here on my porch. So I actually have 3 more that I bought recently in the garage that I'm going to put over here to have more, because putting in my own annuals really inspired me to do a better job of keeping up with them. I also did a much better job of actually providing some fertilizer for them on a every week or 2 basis. And I even went to the extent when I went on vacation, after watching different people's YouTube channels that talk about gardening and things, and several of them talk about drip tubing. Being in a central Ohio area, we get plenty of rain generally throughout the year, that once I have my plants and my flower beds established, I don't really have to keep watering them. So putting in some sort of system like a drip tubing type of thing, or even sprinklers, usually, at least for me, at my price point of my budget, it's not worth the cost because of how much rain we get. And once a perennial is established, or a shrub, which is typically the main thing that I do in my beds, because I want them to be very low maintenance and not have to be redone every year, that watering system just isn't necessary. So, but I thought they also make soaker hoses. So I figured out and set up, I put a timer on a split on my closest hose. I had the timer on one side. I added the soaker hose to it, ran the soaker hose because it's not very far, just around that corner, throw along here. It had a double effect. It kept some hydrangeas that I have right here that tended to be a little wilty by noon time until the sun would get a little further around the house, and then they would perk right back up. Well, by putting that soaker hose, it ran kind of right around through this area where these 3 hydrangeas were. It gave them just a little extra boost of water and helped them, I think, be a little happier, being in that somewhat slightly stressful situation in the first part of the day. But then I was able just to run the soaker hose here and then run it along these pots, and it kept everything watered, and I didn't have to come out here. I just set the timer for it to come on every morning for about an hour, and it kept those pots looking gorgeous all summer. So I'll try to add a picture or two to this video so that you can see how they looked. It was just so nice to come out and sit on the porch and be able to look at those and enjoy them. So definitely planning to do that again. But back to the whole not trying to learn things the hard way, I've actually done some research, and a lot of people have said pots, if they're left out through the winter with dirt in them, as the soil freezes and thaws, that can cause these pots to crack. Really don't, even though they're not super expensive, I'd rather not have to deal with that mess. So today I'm going to see if I can try to pop out these big clumps of dirt, or at least most of it, and I'll toss it where I usually toss stuff, in my front woods. And that way these pots either then can be relocated to the garage for the winter, or which would probably be the best option. But at least if I can get the dirt out, they won't be in danger, hopefully, of cracking sometime during the winter. Okay, you guys, the first one came out so easy. The root system on the plants must have been so extensive. It just clumped the whole thing together. It was almost like taking a small root-bound plant out of a small little planter. It just was all stuck together. I'm going to try to set my phone up so that you can see. I'm hoping the next one will be the same. We'll see. Not this one. Let's try another one. Not this one either. Oh, this one. Look at that. The root structure on the plants that were in this pot have just clumped this together. Oh my goodness. And yes, I literally just dump it in the woods.